here's your full 7-part legal revenge script for the title. Asterisk, asterisk, HOA towed my truck while I was in the ICU. I had the only legal easement into the subdivision. Asterisk, asterisk, I didn't say a word when the HOA president screamed about trespassing. I just unlocked my gate, handed her lawyer a laminated copy of the 1961 infrastructure easement agreement signed by the county, and watched the color drain from his face. 30 seconds later, she stopped yelling. 40 seconds later, she realized the entire subdivision relied on a gravel road that ran across my land, and I held the only legal access in or out. They'd towed my truck while I was lying in a hospital bed, clinging to consciousness. Now, I was home. They had no idea they'd cut off the one man who could legally landlock them all. I moved to Willow Creek when my lungs gave out. Not in the dramatic way. Just age. Years working in the field, years overseas, too many cold deployments, too many dust storms, and not enough clean rest. The VA called it what it was, chronic pulmonary fibrosis. It's not fatal, but progressive. I needed quiet, clean air, a place to sleep long and breathe slow. I didn't want trouble. That's the part most people don't get when these stories come up. I wasn't out looking for a fight. I bought 5 acres on the edge of a sleepy HOA-run community in northern Arizona, right where the county road turns to gravel. My land wasn't part of the HOA, and the realtor had made that very clear. What they didn't mention was that I owned the stretch of road that led into the entire subdivision, an old gravel path. Technically county-maintained decades ago, but still sitting on a private easement deeded to my parcel. I didn't think anything of it. Didn't plan to use it. I had my own drive. Let the neighborhood do what they wanted. The cabin was old. Grandpa's back in the day. I fixed it up slow. I planted some mesquite out front, hung a wind chime my daughter made in pottery class, and spent most days just watching the light change on the hills. I'd do morning walks with my oxygen pack and coffee, wave at neighbors who waved back, and ignore the ones who didn't. It was quiet. What's mine? That ended in June. First it was the letter taped to my gate. Asterisk, asterisk, unauthorized. Vehicle parked in common right-of-way, subject to towing. Asterisk, asterisk, they'd slapped it on my gate. Not the truck, not the easement sign. My personal gate. I thought it was a mistake. Called the number on the bottom. No answer. 2 days later, my truck was gone. Not stolen. Towed. The camera showed a local service. Pulling it right off my private drive, through the gate I installed, past the no trespassing sign, and down the gravel stretch toward the highway. The bill came the next day. $435 for the tow, $75 per day in storage. From an HOA I wasn't even part of. I was still trying to sort it out when my chest gave out. I collapsed in the kitchen on a Thursday morning. The VA called it a pulmonary event, and my daughter drove in from Phoenix. I was in the ICU for 4 days. When I got back, the gate lock was cut. My truck was sitting 2 miles away at a dusty impound lot. The new letter was worse than the first. Asterisk, asterisk, repeat violations of common access policy. Future incidents may result in legal action. Asterisk, asterisk. That was when the calm cracked. I didn't scream. I didn't post angry signs. I did what every Army engineer learns to do by year 2. I opened the map. I found the deed, pulled from my file cabinet, tucked in a manila folder under land use. I'd barely read it when I bought the property, just enough to know the borders. But now I read every page, every line. Parcel 17C, easement recorded in 1961, 1.2 miles. It's a road access across my property, granted to the county for maintenance, not to the HOA. County jurisdiction lapsed in 1998. From that point forward, the road fell back to the A. Original parcel holder me. I pulled satellite imagery from the state GIS website. I traced every lot that used the road. 23 homes. All accessed by my easement. None of them had legal driveways touching public roads. Then I called a land use attorney in Flagstaff. Then I called the county recorder's office. Then I got quiet. I stopped returning the HOA letters. Let them keep coming. Let them find me. Let them threaten legal action instead. I requested infrastructure maintenance records from the county dating back 40 years. Got copies of the original plats. Had a surveyor confirm the edge of my property, the exact line where the subdivision gate overlapped the old cattle trail that became the gravel road. Then I filed a cease and desist. Served directly to the HOA board. Certified mail. Asterisk, asterisk, unauthorized seizure and towing of private vehicle from non-HOA parcel. Cease further entry upon parcel 17C in road easement, effective immediately.
Asterisk.
Of way and historic access. That's when I printed the 1961 order. That's when I pulled the dusty plastic tub from the wet crawl space, the one with my Army files, my deployment orders, and the stamped letter from the Department of the Army confirming infrastructure inspection. Credentials from 1993 to 2012. I laminated the pages. Then I waited for their next move. It came fast. The HOA president's sharp haircut, clipboard, name tag, even on weekends, showed up with their attorney. They marched right up the gravel road and stopped at my gate, which I'd replaced with a steel cattle bar. Stepped out slow, didn't raise my voice, didn't ask what they were doing. I just handed him the papers, the deed, the survey, the Army. Infrastructure certification. The letter from the county confirming the easement lapse and reversion clause. The lawyer read the first 2 pages. His expression didn't change until he hit the phrase asterisk, asterisk, exclusive access reserved to parcel holder. No subdivision, HOA, or third-party organization shall assume rights without formal transfer and recorded county approval. Asterisk, asterisk, his shoulders dropped. The HOA president was still mid-rant when he whispered something in her ear. She went quiet. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just asked them to leave my property, which now they understood, included the road they'd been treating. Like their own, they left. I locked the gate behind them. The fallout wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, which made it better. 3 days later, the board called an emergency meeting. A week after that, the common access policy disappeared from their website. 2 members resigned. The president stayed, but she stopped walking with a clipboard. They didn't apologize, but they paid the tow fee. My gate's still locked most days. I added a keypad for emergency access and gave the code to the fire department and sheriff. Not the HOA. Neighbors wave now. Some still scowl, but most wave. One stopped me last week, said, "Didn't know all that land was yours?" I just nodded, didn't say much, didn't need to, because now, every time they drive in or out, every time their tires touch that gravel stretch, they remember whose land they're crossing, and they remember what happens when you push a quiet man too far, especially one with the deed.